WIDA stands for World Class Instruction, Design, and Assessment. My name is Barb Kiplinger. I'm the District ELL Curriculum Coordinator. The state of Indiana adopted two sets of standards, the College and Career Ready Standards and WIDA ELD Standards. By now, you are familiar with the Indiana College and Career Ready Standards. However, in the following course, you will be introduced to the WIDA standards. The following questions will be addressed. What are the WIDA standards? How are they implemented? And who is required to use the standards? And what are the benefits? In order to satisfy federal law and U.S. DOE guidance, Indiana chose to adopt the WIDA English Language Development Standards in 2016. WIDA standards apply the moment there is an English learner in your classroom. Please watch the following video from the IDOE.
One thing we discussed is looking at these WIDA standards and the differentiation that will inevitably occur because of this. This is great because it's not just great for our ELLs, it's really going to be great for all of our learners. And it's wonderful because it provides like that differentiation that all students need.
So it's differentiation in a nicely spiral-bound notebook, right? So it gives it to you and you can give it to teachers and it gives them instant ideas of how to take the content and make it comprehensible for our English learners as well as other students as well. Sometimes we get a little dangerous when we say that what's good for EL kids is good for all kids, because then that makes teachers think, oh, well, I already do this, so it's just, I already differentiate for my students, so why are they giving me more stuff? And so what we say is, yes, it is good for all students, but we have to be intentional about what we're doing and the expectations that we have for our English learners so they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing and where they need to go. So it's about being explicit about those expectations with our English learners. But absolutely, are you going to have other students that are English learners that could fall into one of these categories? Absolutely. None of us have a classroom where all students are on grade level. Whew, that'd be nice. And so you're naturally doing this to begin with, but this gives you resources to be able to do that. So we'd like to say the WIDA standards and the framework that come with it, they are a bridge to help ensure that our English learners have access to those content standards, to our Indiana academic standards. Like I said earlier, you don't teach WIDA in isolation, you teach it in conjunction with the content. And we really want to make sure that's something that we drive home. The old ELP standards, people did teach them in isolation, and they looked very much like our language arts standards. And so a lot of teachers didn't see the value in them because they said, I'm already teaching this, so why do I have to worry about these separate set of standards? And so what happened were a lot of teachers just didn't use them. And so the whole point behind WIDA is to make sure that doesn't happen. This is something you use in conjunction with your academic standards to make sure those students have that access. So some people call it a vehicle, some people call it a bridge. The picture of the bridge looks quite nice for our presentation, so that's what we have up here. So just like I said, to reiterate one more time before I turn it back over to Nathan, this is the bridge that is going to help ensure that our English learners have that meaningful access to the content. They have a right to learn that content, and we have an obligation to make sure that we're doing so. And so what WIDA gives you is a plethora of tools, research, and resources to help make that happen.
The goal of the WIDA standards: allow ELL students to communicate at their language level, allow teachers to use the standards for differentiated and personalized instruction, allow every teacher, regardless of grade level and content area, to differentiate and personalize instruction for their EL students. Federal law requires that teachers utilize the WIDA standards to ensure equitable access for all EL students. It also requires teachers to use the College and Career Readiness Standards in conjunction with the WIDA standards. All NACS teachers, regardless if they currently have an EL student or not, must be able to employ the WIDA standards the moment an EL student is assigned to them. The four big ideas of WIDA: equity and access, integration of content and language, collaboration of stakeholders, and a functional approach of language development.